The primary challenge we're seeing with organizations when it comes to content is that generally there are multiple lines of business, all with these segregated content repositories and the various user interfaces that are layered on top. This creates some content inefficiencies when it comes to trying to redefine the customer's interaction with the business. In an environment where public and private systems are often segregated, dealing with parties that are beyond your organization becomes a significant obstacle. If the public and private systems are decoupled from a content perspective, then generally the customer experience with that organization is going to be impacted. What I'd like to do today is to dive into a quick demonstration that showcases how our LEAP products can be coupled with our existing Documentum products to provide content synergy among both systems and those individuals that are inside or outside of your organization. So in this scenario, we're going to experience a combination of 7 products, as I mentioned, both LEAP and Documentum, that we've brought together to help redefine the experience of HR onboarding for a new employee. So what we're looking at here is one of our LEAP applications called Concert. For those of you that are familiar with the collaborative authoring tools, you will quickly see the unique experience that Concert provides by allowing a group of people to co-author a document in a flexible yet controlled manner. At first glance, we see all of the documents we're a part of. We can easily create, import, and filter documents at any time. Next, we can see any assigned tasks with their associated due dates. And lastly, upon drilling into the activity section, we see all of the activity on all of the documents that we're a part of. So as we navigate through historical updates, we can dive directly into that area of the document with a single click. Here we see Nick's comment in context of his assigned section and have the ability to make comments to those sections we're not permitted to change directly as they're assigned to other users. We'll now just give Dave a friendly nudge on his section, which will automatically provide him with a notification. And since we now see that he is out to lunch, we can work our way through the rest of the document. You'll notice we have the ability to specify which participants we have assigned to these sections, and we can assign the due dates for each assignee. This will also prohibit the group from overwriting areas of the document we don't want them to modify. Note, you have the flexibility in determining if the sections of the document are visible to all of the members as well. Scrolling back up to the section we're waiting on, we can see instantly when Dave has submitted his updates to his assigned section. After adding a quick comment, you'll notice the section change hands after Dave has marked his section as completed. So now, as the assigned reviewer for this section of the document, what can I do with these updates made by Dave? By clicking on this section, we can now see the option to view changes and compare the original with the updates he has made, along with viewing the date and timestamp, as well as actions we can take on this section. The ability to review and approve is critical in collaborative authoring to ensure a consistent tone throughout the document. Once we have approved this section of the document, we can now see it's made available to all the other participants included in this collaboration. Now that we're happy with the updates, we can go back out to the main page to download this document and pass the baton to the next user in our process. Our next user is preparing the template to be used as part of the overall workflow process, and their preferred tool of choice is Microsoft Word. Alleviating the need to have IT handle the mapping, our user easily creates a new template, points to the desired data source, and then begins to quickly and easily map the fields directly into the document, leveraging Document Science's Espresso for Word. After we've mapped a few of the fields, we can then allow the user to preview the file with a few of the sample data sets prior to saving that template back to the underlying repository. Before we dive into the application our HR team is going to leverage, I wanted to quickly point out how this sample workspace application was created. What you see here is XCP Designer, a simple yet powerful tool designed to create and connect all aspects of the XCP app, from the workflow that drives both the system and people tasks, as well as the integrations, such as the connection and mapping to LEAP Courier. This is also where the pages are created that we will interact with in the next portion of the demonstration. Logged in as our user Betty, here we see the XCP sample app designed to help our users be most efficient in completing their work. At its core, XCP does an incredible job managing the relationships, and this HR scenario is a great example of that. As you see, we can view all aspects that our HR user cares about when it comes to hiring, And for the sake of time, we've got to quickly hire our candidate, so let's dive directly into our candidates area. Here we can leverage the embedded search capability to view our candidates. And let's drill into Grace as we need to expedite the hiring process before we lose her. We can view the info we have on Grace, as well as any related content and jobs that she has applied for. We could spend days on all the capabilities we have put in this application, and go through the interview portion as well. But at this point, let's move forward. Once we click Hired, you see a series of system tasks. And before those take place, let's ensure Grace is on board by creating a space for her to fill out the new hire forms and approve her offer letter. So now, going into our inbox, and you see 2 emails are automatically generated, one for Grace and one for Mary, our hiring manager. Grace's email welcomes her to Leap Courier and recognizes she's a first-time user, so let's copy the temporary password and easily get her registered to access all of her information. Upon logging into Leap Courier, our external candidate Grace has full visibility to see all of the forms that are required for her to complete, and quickly finds her offer letter to review to ensure it's the same as what was verbally agreed, makes her comments, and then submits that for review. You'll notice the status of the documents and how they continue to update. Also note how we have leveraged document science's expression in an effort to reduce the frustration of our candidate by pre-populating all of these forms with information we've already requested and collected from our user. Now that all of our files are in review, we can now log out as Grace. Returning to our inbox, you'll notice Mary has received notifications that there are documents ready for review. Mary then logs into Leap Courier and is brought directly to the document. Mary will then mark this as complete and review the remaining documents. Note the date and timestamps that are added to every action. Additionally, Mary has the ability to view other new hires that she is responsible for and has complete visibility to where each is in regards to completing their forms as required. So let's pause for a moment and think about how key the insight to the status, not only for the company, but also for the candidate, and what a nightmare these back and forth situations and information are to manage via email. While we're logged in as Mary, who's the owner of this space, let's see what additional functional administration she has. You have the ability to create the template to collect and apply metadata, as well as manage the users and groups that will participate on the content. As you see, this space was automatically created and the users were assigned based on that underlying workflow driven by XCP. But also note you have the flexibility to add additional folders, or folios as we call them in Courier, keeping in mind that Courier is not just another document sharing or transfer solution. Okay, back to our new hire. Mary approved all of the documents for Grace, which marked them as complete, which then triggered the call to write these files back to the system of record. Once they're in Documentum, we can access this information from any of our tools, and our next user is going to be accessing them via Documentum D2. Note that we have our candidate files, and the user has the ability to preview and perform all of those Documentum functions on those files right within this configurable UI. Metadata is an amazing thing, and upon hiring one candidate, we can automatically update the attributes to ensure those candidates that we did not hire are automatically retained to adhere to your required compliance regulations. Lastly, we know our users are never using just one device. And as you see here, we can provide you with on-the-go access to view and act on your secure corporate content and your tasks easily within Leap Express. In this process, all of that information, in addition to all the applications and necessary forms to bring that employee on board, are now in the same underlying system of record, leveraging a system that allows us to transform our engagement with the customer. By utilizing all these different products together, we can bring content synergy back to the organization.